YOLO, my fellow human beings, and welcome to episode 42 of The Best Blessed Life. I'm your best host, Kristen, and today's topic is food flips or flops. You decide. Before we get started, I want to thank you all for watching. Please continue to watch, comment, share, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and please pass them on to anyone that you think that they can help. With that being said, we have our challenges going on. We have our workout savings account. We have our 21 days of gratefulness. We have eliminate a bad and or add a good habit. And then we also have eliminate and stretch. Those I go over in a lot of the other videos, so make sure you check that out. Any of the other 41, pretty much. Maybe not the last couple anyway. And then the positive word of the day is nourishing. Containing substances necessary for growth, health, and good condition. Okay, so the topic might be a little misleading in that you think I might be going over substitutions for the bad things that we eat. And in some respects, you would be correct. But I want to specifically hit hard white granulated sugar or table sugar. And I also want to hit really hard white or all-purpose flour, bleached flour. Any of those are under this realm of we eat them, but they're not good for us. So I'm wondering what we're thinking in our heads when we go, oh, I need to buy a bag of flour, knowing full well that perhaps that flour isn't as positive a food item as, say, something else we could swap it or flip it for instead. Now, some of the things you're going to realize there's no replacement for white sugar or white flour, and I'm not suggesting you go through your whole recipe repertoire and realize, okay, I use white flour for this, and what can I replace it with? Not everything or anything can replace white flour or white sugar. But our goal would be to try and eliminate it as much as possible because it isn't the greatest for you. And I have some facts on both things that I want to go over with you real quick. Hopefully I can get them to come up on my tablet. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about, wait a minute, what the heck? Okay, so I guess this is what I saved, but I thought I saved something else also. So this is a article by, I'm assuming it's just a website right now called healthline.com. It's 5 of the healthiest flours for every purpose. It says flour is a pantry staple used for making desserts, baked goods, casseroles, and pasta. But some flours are healthier than others. For example, white and all-purpose flours are less healthy as they're refined to remove the bran and germ, which store most of its fiber and nutrients from the wheat. So they actually take out the part that makes it whole wheat flour, essentially, is what I'm getting out of it. As such, many people are interested in replacing white flour with more wholesome options for baking and cooking. In fact, some flours aren't made from grains at all, but nuts or seeds. So the 5 healthiest are coconut flour is a grain and a gluten-free flour. Say that fast 3 times. Made by grinding dried coconut meat into a soft, fine powder. It's more calorie dense than traditional grain-based flours and a good source of protein, fat, fiber, and minerals like iron and potassium. Unlike grain flours, coconut flour contains a substantial amount of fat. This fat is primarily saturated and largely comprised of medium-chain triglycerides, which may reduce inflammation and support healthy metabolism. Okay, so let's see. It also says, although it's controversial, saturated fat from coconut likely affects your health differently than fast food, fried foods, and processed meats, and may even offer benefits. Coconut flour is also rich in antioxidants and appears to have antimicrobial properties, which means that's what they put on things like high chairs and things that they want to stay like more germ free. So I guess you could think of it as an antiseptic, I guess, or hand sanitizer, like a sanitizing thing. I'll get it yet. And a half cup or 64 grams servings provides 200 calories, 8.5 grams of protein. That's awesome. 13 grams of fat, 34 grams of carbs, 25 grams of fiber, 22% of the daily value of iron, and 18% of the daily value of potassium. It has a mildly sweet flavor that lends itself to cakes, cookies, breads, and other baked goods. It tends to have a gritty texture and absorb a lot of liquid. So sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Thus, it works best in dishes that use eggs to maintain moisture and structure, such as muffins. Good to know. It says when substituting coconut flour for wheat flour, use about a quarter of what the recipe calls for. A quarter. Then replace the remaining 3/4 with another type of flour. Interesting. Additionally, because it needs more liquid than other flours, add 1 egg per 1/4 cup of coconut flour in baked goods. Okay, so summary: coconut flour is gluten-free and a good source of fat, protein, fiber, and antioxidants. It's mildly sweet, so it works great for baking. Almond flour is made by grinding blanched almonds into a fine powder. As it doesn't contain grains, it's naturally gluten-free. Note that almond flour is different than almond meal, which is a coarser ingredient made by grinding almonds with their skin still intact. Good to know. Almond flour is a good source of magnesium, omega-3 unsaturated fats, plant protein, and vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant. Keep in mind that almonds, like other nuts and seeds, are high in calories, but I mean, for the most part, the calories to me don't mean as much as what comes in those calories. If they're highly nutritious calories, I'm all about packing them, full of stuff. But if you're talking about a burger from McDonald's, different story. So I also feel like the fats in the meats of the almonds are so good for you that the high fat content doesn't scare me either. So it says the nutrients in this flour offer several benefits, such as improved insulin resistance, as well as lower LDL, or the bad cholesterol, and blood pressure. Almonds may also protect brain health, as vitamin E may reduce your risk of Alzheimer's. A half a cup of almond flour, which is 56 grams, is 340 calories. It's 12 grams of protein, so it's a little bit higher. It's 30 grams of fat, but take into consideration, those are pretty awesome fats. 12 grams of carbs, which is awesome because that's very low. 4 grams of fiber, which is okay. It's not the greatest. I have something tickling me here. Calcium. It has 5% calcium of the daily value, 6% of iron, 8% 8% potassium, 65% of your daily value of magnesium, and 100% of your vitamin E. It has a nutty flavor and is easy to use in most recipes, and you can simply substitute almond flour for wheat flour at equal ratios. It works well in baked goods like pancakes, cookies, scones, and biscuits, plus savory foods like homemade pastas and meatballs. It's gluten-free, good source of protein, unsaturated fat. I'm telling you, it sounds pretty good to me so far. All right, number 3 is quinoa flour, which I don't even know if I've seen before. But it's made by grinding quinoa into a fine powder. This gluten-free pseudo cereal is widely considered a whole grain, which means that it hasn't been processed and refined, leaving its original nutrients intact. Notably, it's a good source of protein, fiber, iron, and unsaturated fats. Furthermore, it boasts antioxidants and anti-inflammatory effects that may benefit digestive health, inhibit tumor growth, and lower overall disease risk. Half a cup, which is 56 grams of quinoa flour, provides 200 calories, 8 grams of protein, 2 grams of fat, 38 grams of carbs, which is on the higher side. Did it to myself again. On the higher side, fiber, 6 grams. It's 33% of the daily value of iron and 4% of the daily value of potassium. It lends a moist, tender texture to baked goods, substituted for half the amount of wheat flour in most recipes. Some people find this flour bitter, but you can diminish the aftertaste by toasting it, which might be kind of fun, actually, on medium heat for about 5 to 10 minutes in a dry skillet. Quinoa flour is great for pancakes, muffins, pizza, and pie crusts. And you can also use it to thicken soups and sauces. It's grain-based, gluten-free, high in protein, iron, fiber, and unsaturated fats, and it gives a fluffy texture. Going over all these flours and things is really helping me solidify some of my recipes that I'm trying to get through, so I'm kind of excited about the fact that I'm getting some good quality information because I am looking for a fluffier texture. So I'm wondering if I can cut my other flour, maybe not in half, but we'll see. So I'm learning some good things here. Okay, number 4 is buckwheat flour. Is made from ground buckwheat and plant known for its grain-like seeds. Despite its name, buckwheat is unrelated to wheat and therefore gluten-free. So far, all these are gluten-free. Buckwheat flour is an earthy flavor and is used to make traditional Japanese soba noodles. It's a good source. I like soba noodles. I think I've had them a few times. It's a good source of fiber, protein, and micronutrients like manganese, magnesium, copper, iron, and phosphorus. Research shows that this flour may reduce blood sugar in people with diabetes and improve biomarkers for heart health. It may also have anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, and prebiotic properties. Prebiotics are a type of fiber that feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut. So if you're low on that, which I'm pretty sure I am, it's going to help you with that digestive health. A half cup, which is 60 grams of buckwheat flour, offers 200 calories, 4 grams of protein. So the protein's not as high. 2 grams of fat, which is great. The carbs are higher, so it's 44 grams of carbs. 6 grams of fiber, 17% of the iron, 34% of the daily manganese, 33% of magnesium. Those are hard to say in a row. I almost said the same thing twice. Magnesium, 73% of your copper intake for the day, and 17% of phosphorus. For best results, buckwheat flour should be used in combination with other whole grain flours, comprising 25 to 50% of the total flour in the recipe. It works well in pancakes, quick breads, delectable crumb coating for meat. I don't know what that means. It does not say this is gluten-free, but I swear at the top, yes, it says despite its buckwheat, it is unrelated to wheat and therefore gluten-free. So it's rich in fiber, protein, and numerous minerals, and it's great for baked goods mainly and crumb coatings. Oh, crumb coating! It said toppings up there. Crumb coatings for like fish or chicken or Okay, and lastly, whole wheat flour. It is the most baked. Yeah, I can read. Wheat flour is in most baked goods you'll find at bakeries and supermarkets, yet whole wheat and white flour are vastly different. Whereas the whole wheat version is made by grinding entire wheat kernels into a powder, white flour removes the most nutrient-rich parts, as we discussed before, the bran and the germ. Thus, whole wheat flour is widely considered healthier. It's a good source of protein, fiber, and a variety of vitamins and minerals, and as it contains gluten. So this is the one on the list. It isn't appropriate for people with celiac disease or gluten intolerance. A half cup is 60 grams. It's 200 calories, 8 grams of protein, 0 grams of fat, 42 grams of carbs, which is on the higher side again. And then you've got 8 grams of fiber, 11% of the iron, and 5% of the potassium. It can be used in equal amounts as white or all-purpose and in any recipe. Bear in mind that it gives a less fluffy texture than white flour because it's unrefined. So it's heavier. It's got more of the actual, it says the whole kernel. So it's got parts of it that are actually weighing it down and making it heavier. And you can enjoy it in homemade breads, muffins, cakes, cookies, rolls, pizza dough, pancakes, and waffles. And that's the one glutinous, not gluttonous, flour on the menu, so to speak. And then, okay, so I've learned some things that I didn't know before. And I'm going to go back to my recipe. I have been kind of mulling over different scenarios and how I want to move forward. I have heard from a few people that I've been waiting to hear from. So I've got positive results coming on that front. I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. The business plan is still hanging over my head. I'm still working through so many different things that it's not even funny. Okay. All right. So now I want to talk to you about white sugar, granulated sugar. Okay. No, do not sign me up for that. Okay. And this is called, and this is from Women's Health Magazine, 9 disturbing facts about sugar you need to know. The bitter truth about the sweet stuff. Okay, it says, as a nation, we have a problem with sugar. Let's see. So we're going to get right into it because it does, really. The article does. It starts out with the fact that liquid sugar, and what they mean by that is anything you drink that has sugar in it. So sweet teas, your energy drinks, your pop, and that includes Diet Pop, still has a form of sugar in it, is wreaking havoc on Americans' diets. Desserts aren't the only culprit. Sugar in liquid form via beverages like sodas, energy drinks, sports drinks is the largest single source of added sugar in an American's diet. It comprises 36% of the added sugar Americans take in. Not quite half, but think about how much easier it is to overdo it with an energy drink than it is to do it with a bowl of ice cream. Now, I have to ixnay that because I'm the exact opposite. I hate energy drinks. They all taste disgusting to me, but I could probably sit and eat a whole container of ice cream. Is it ridiculous? Of course it is, but it says it's hard to feel as full from a high-calorie drink. I get their point on that. So they're saying you feel more full with a bowl of ice cream than you do with an energy drink or any sugary beverage. So they're saying you drink more of them because you don't realize how quickly. Alcohol falls in this category too, people. I hate to break it to you. It's the alcohol sugars are just as bad for you as any other sugars. So they're saying soda is straight up terrible. They want you to kick the cola habit. Chugging 1 can of soda per day can increase your risk of dying from heart disease by almost 1/3. Even worse, a study in current diabetes reports showed that compared to drinking sugary beverages like soda less than once a month, indulging 1 to 2 times per day results in a 26% higher chance of struggling with type 2 diabetes. So, they say your liver might suffer. Fructose, an increasingly popular type of sugar, can harm the liver, much like alcohol. Fructose is what makes fruit taste so delicious. And as you know, sugar in fruit is A-okay since it's naturally occurring. But they're saying they're taking fructose and putting it into. The problem is when fructose is manipulated. Here we go. Manufacturers take it from corn, beets, and sugarcane, which, like grain, when it undergoes the refining process, fructose loses fiber and nutrients that help your body handle it properly. So it's taking out whatever helps you process it. Scientists are starting to link fructose consumption to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and non-alcoholic liver scarring, inflammation, and fatty buildup. I can't pronounce this word. Steatohepatitis. It's a big word. It sounds not very fun. There are at least 61 different names. 61 different names for sugar. I don't think they're going to give them to me all right here in this article. From sucrose, which is table sugar, to high fructose corn syrup, which is liquid sugar. Food producers have come up with a plethora of ways to list this nutrient on labels so they think they're hiding it from you. This makes it even easier to skim over a long ingredient name in a shopping hurry. So anything with crose, usually. Sucrose, fructose, any of the oses, I guess is more like it. This in a shopping hurry, inadvertently take in more sugar than you meant to. They do actually give you the 50. There's an extensive list of 56 names listed for sugar in this article, but I'll let you guys look them up. Sugar belly may lead to metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is an umbrella term for chronic issues like heart disease, diabetes, and liver disease. High blood sugar is one of the 5 risk factors, according to the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. That's because it can affect organs like the pancreas and liver, leading to screwed up, that's what it says, blood sugar regulation. One of the biggest signs of metabolic syndrome, according to Sugar Science, is the apple body shape known as sugar belly. If you or a family member have a waist measurement that's larger than that of your hips, that can be a sign you should monitor your health more closely so as to ward off problems in the future. Okay, next one is women consume triple the recommended limit per day. Why women? What are we doing to ourselves, ladies? Hello? The American Heart Association suggests no more than 6 teaspoons, that's 25 grams, of added sugar per day for women. That backs up the World Health Organization's recommendation that adults get less than 10% of their daily calories from added sugar or natural sugar present in honey, syrup, or fruit juice. They say ideally less than 5% of your daily diet should come from the sweet stuff. I hate that word, diet. Daily food consumption. We'll call it that. And that comes out to 25 grams for a 2,000 calorie diet, which, let's face it, a lot of us are eating more than that, period. At the same time, the average American takes in a whopping 19.5 teaspoons every single day, according to research. And it says, what are we supposed to have? What did it say? 5%. Well, I just read it. Where did it say? Oh, that's making me mad. Get less than 10% of their daily calories from sugar. 25 grams. Okay, so that 25 grams is what they want you to have. And they say 19.5 teaspoons is 82 grams daily. Boy. It can cause major cravings. So if you're already eating sugar, it's causing you to want it more. So it's an addiction, just like smoking or drugs or alcohol. Eating sugar might lead to just wanting more of it down the line. And the weird thing is like it's readily available. It's not like it's illegal to purchase it, or if you're underage, you don't have to be a certain age to purchase it. Sugar can affect the brain much like cocaine and alcohol, according to a brain scan study from the U.S. National Institute on Drug Abuse. Those changes, in turn, can lead to more cravings for sugar. There's the good kind of cycle that follows the word soul. Then there's the bad kind that turns into an endless loop of sugar cravings. Thankfully, there are ways to wean your brain off and train it to go gaga for the healthy stuff. And there really is. That's why I have it you eliminating a bad and or adding a good, because you can kind of eliminate it yourself. If you add enough good stuff, you're going to go, I don't want the other stuff. I really don't. Okay, so now the next thing is added sugar is hiding in plain sight. You'd think you can reduce your sugar intake by just saying no to cookies and ice cream, right? Wrong. Added sugar is present in 74% of packaged foods in supermarkets. That's why I'm having you guys always shop the outer aisles. Even if you have to have baked goods, go to the bakery section. As we learned from last week's segment about buying the prepackaged bakery items, they still have words in there you can't pronounce, and that's usually the wrong way to go. If you can't pronounce the words, you probably don't want to put it into your body, right? A report in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, it's an ingredient in things that don't seem sweet, like bread and pasta. Since you don't expect them to have sugar, well, most people, or not most, but a few people I know actually add sugar to their pasta sauce because it cuts the acidity of the tomatoes. So I don't think a lot of people are surprised that there's sugar in pasta sauce. And breads. I mean, there are sugar breads, so I don't know if that's a big shocker either. Maybe they're just talking about everyday white or wheat bread, which has sugar in it. Okay, too much sugar is potentially linked to tons of diseases. New studies are showing possible links between too much added sugar and various diseases beyond the ones covered in metabolic syndrome. Although none of them are confirmed, the research is mounting. Overconsumption of sugar and refined carbs might raise the risk of certain cancers and bring about higher rates of recurrence and lower rates of survival after therapy. According to the research in the New England Journal of Medicine, Clinical Advances in Hematology and Oncology, and the Journal of Physiology, it's also potentially connected to Alzheimer's, per a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. If that isn't enough to convince you, there might be an association between how much sugar you eat and how quickly your skin ages. Think wrinkles. Says the research in the Journal of Physiology, Clinics in Dermatology and Physiological Research, Academia Scientiarum. I can't even say that last word. Was that 9 facts already? No. That was 10. Wow. That went fast. So that is why I've always been trying to convince you guys to replace it when you can, because anything you can do to reduce the level of sugar you're taking in, because there's so many things you eat in a day. I just got done reading those big scientific words and now I can't say in a day. The stuff you eat within a day, a lot of things you don't have the labels for. If you eat out a lot, you have no idea what's in that food. I mean, you can Google it and look it up and see all the ingredients, but would you acknowledge it if you were just in a hurry and just had to grab something really quick? So you grab a lemonade and a turkey sandwich and bag of chips. I mean, the amount of things that you just grab that have sugar in it, you wouldn't think, right? I mean, obviously turkey doesn't have sugar in it, but if you're buying turkey from the deli, it could be a honey roasted turkey. It could have other bad things in it, like nitrites, things that affect different organs in your body that are not good for you. It's just, we have to take into consideration that just because we eat it and it's a food does not mean it's good for us. Just like certain medications we take, they have a list of how you should take them. So, like, even they say Motrin, you shouldn't take on an empty stomach. because it harms the lining of your stomach. So typically you would probably want to eat something with that, like bread or whatever, toast, whatever you have for breakfast, if you're doing it first thing in the morning. But a lot of times I know people take them not only on an empty stomach, and I'm guilty of that, but also without water, which isn't good for you either. You got to make sure you flush it through. And the taste of them, ugh, I don't know how people do that. I really don't. I hope to gosh my microphone isn't just bumping up against my outfit this whole time. So when I talk about flips or flops, I wanted to talk to you guys about how we should handle this new information. I've gone over several things that you can use to replace. There's so many new sugars out there that are better for you, that are made from plants, that are at least natural, like honey and maple syrup. Not that they're any better for you as far as calories go or the sugar content, how high the sugar levels are. But for baking and things of that nature, they're not out of the realm of possibility. Some dried fruits people are using in place of sugars. And also like applesauce, unsweetened, natural, I think is what it is. So those are things people are grinding up, like dates or raisins or things of that nature with a really sweet, sugary content to them, and using that to replace white sugar. But you need to make sure that those are equal parts. So don't be adding like the same amount of like maple syrup as you would applesauce, because applesauce isn't going to be as sweet as the maple syrup. So you're going to want to make adjustments there. But why I called it flip or flop is because some of these things are not going to be good in certain things. Like I'm going to say certain nut flours might not be good in thickening a soup. If you don't want that nutty flavor in your soup, some soups it might be good in, like a nice butternut squash. Getting some nutty flavor from, or pulling the nutty flavor out of the butternut squash might be a delicious way to use a nut flour, but it might not be good in, say, I can't even think of what you wouldn't use a nut flour for, to be honest. I think that nutty flavor in most baked goods and breads would be delicious. So unless you're allergic to a tree nut, I really think that the nut flours and the especially coconut, I really like coconut flour, and it gives you this like sweetness that you're looking for. So like more of your cookies, cakes, and pie type baking as opposed to maybe your breads for the coconut one, because it is sweeter than, say, the regular nut flours. But these all, when you're replacing things, you have to understand that it is not going to taste the same. And it is going to throw you off, and you're going to be like, ugh. It's going to taste, it's going to have more of a, I don't want to say woodsier taste, but it has more of a earthier taste. I think they used that several times in the article that I read. So when you do finally decide to cut your sugar intake a little bit, realize that it is a true effort of figuring out what works for you until you can kind of replace it completely. So say, for example, you're not a big whole wheat fan, but you know it's better for you than white. So cut the white flour, cut it in half, cut it into a third. If you really want to have a more nutritious flour for baking or for like coating chicken, or, you know, like if you're going to fry it, It is good to start out with just a little bit at a time and then inch your way over to the healthier flour. Same with sugar. You can cut white sugar in half by using any of those other substitutions, maple syrup. Just keep in mind that some of these sugars are liquids, so the consistency of your dish might change, and you might have to therefore alter your dry ingredients a little bit. I haven't noticed that so far too much, but it does affect the way that it bakes and the texture that you get in the end. So take that in mind. I really like applesauce as a substitution. It works really great in cake, especially if you're doing like a spiced cake or something. You get a little bit of the appley flavor in there. But there are going to be things that just don't make sense to use anything but white flour. But a lot of times the people are intolerant to the gluten in white flour, or are just have celiac disease, which is an allergy to, I think, wheat in itself. So any form of it. People are using cauliflower now to replace flours in like pizza doughs and things like that. They're using it to replace rice, mashed potatoes, things of that nature. So coming up with something to replace something is not a new concept. People are trying it all the time. What I want you to understand is that it's not that hard to do. You can find them in the regular store, so you don't have to make your own flours if you don't want to, or even your own cauliflower pizza crusts. Excuse me. Aldi's even sells a pizza, a frozen or refrigerated pizza with a cauliflower crust. I have not tried it yet, but maybe if you guys want me to, I'll get one to try. Because I'm always looking for ways to replace rice. I'm not a big brown rice fan because it doesn't seem like I'm capable of cooking it correctly. Like I always feel it's a little hard. So maybe I need to work on my brown rice technique a little bit. I do like the flavor of brown rice. I love Chipotle's brown rice. So maybe I just need to add some more seasonings and a little bit more cook time, maybe a little bit more liquid, maybe some different flavors of liquid too. So chicken stock, beef stock, things of that nature. But I guess I really wanted to talk to you guys about just the fact that we need to get away from these chemicals in our foods that don't make any sense being there. They're not good for us. They don't help us in any way. A lot of that is why we're sick today, and how we feed our illnesses with the food that actually is making us sick a lot of times doesn't make sense either. Excuse me. But I just want you guys to think about the overall way you feel. Just start making little notations like, I just had a white bread sandwich. Okay. And I just don't, it makes me feel bloated, or it hurts my stomach, or I notice it messes with my digestive system. Rye breads, pumpernickels, multigrains. They make tons of multigrain breads out there that are absolutely delicious. I know I have a bread machine. I always say I want to start making multigrain breads, but I never do, because it's just easier to buy one from the store. But then again, there you go into running into things on the label that you don't understand. So bakery items are always best if you're not going to make it yourself. I've said that, I don't know, about a bazillion times. I think I'm probably beating you to death with it. But I just want us to get healthier, work towards feeling better, feeling more positive. And if we can support each other in that department, I think we can accomplish just about anything. If we're feeling better, what's to stop us from ruling the world? And I don't mean that in a creepy way. I just mean in a way that's productive and successful and happy. Okay, so with that being said, I think we're done for today. I just want to thank you all for watching again. I can't thank you all enough for all your support. We're coming up on the year 1 anniversary episode, so I'm looking forward to seeing some comments about what I can do to maybe cover something you guys want me to cover. And I guess without further ado, I just want to say, have a good day. Go do great things. Be your best self. And please live your best blessed life. Thanks for watching.